I just strongly believe that no matter what it is or what happens in your life, there's two ways to look at it. You can look at it in a positive way and use it to your advantage and grow from it. Or you can just look at it in the negative way and say, why me, this sucks, and just sit around and pout.
1926, personal best. It was hard. It was extremely difficult. There were many times where I'm just lost for words. I'm lost for words. Let's go. Hey, if it wasn't for this guy,
let's go.
If it wasn't for this guy, man, so our strategy was he wasn't going for a PB. He doesn't know the route. And so he was just gonna like pace, stay by me, and then towards the end he was gonna speed up. And I don't think if there was like twice, there was two times during the run when you were gone, I said, oh man, here we go again. I don't know. Anyway, 1926, it's a big PB.
That's huge. It's a massive difference.
And that's the difference with running with someone else. A lot of people say having a workout partner in the gym. I'm not a fan. The gym for me is like therapy, where I like to do my own stuff and whatever. But running, this was the first time where I benefited greatly to have someone next to me and push me.
It's you can see the benefits of having a pacer when you see people going for records, similar to the guy that did the marathon. He had a pacer, right? It's easier to follow something when when you're not used to it, right?
And there were times when I got closer to him at the end of the hill, on the Bedford Highway. You slowed down, and I was like, holy shit, I still got juice left. Let me try to chase him. I didn't catch him, but it was something to like, it's like
you pushed me to go a little bit faster, and then that pushed you to go a bit faster.
Hey, 1926, let's go.
All right, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Undress the Stories. For those of you who are new here, my name is Tristan Ross, and I run the Instagram page called Undress the Jersey, which is a platform that gives all athletes the opportunity to share their story. But specifically in this video series, I go back to the stories that were previously shared on the page and add my 2 cents on them. It's been a very fun process for me because it's allowing me to reflect on stories shared, to my own life, my own stories, and hopefully bring a little bit of value to you by doing that. It's been a little while since we've done an episode like this. With the recent state of the Black Lives Matter movement and the recent protests, I felt that there was something bigger that needed to be focused on. And I didn't want to put out regular content that may have taken away from the attention of what really matters right now. And although this may feel like it goes without being said, just because we're continuing to post again for our audience, we recognize that this problem of inequality and injustice within the Black community isn't fixed. Just because we spent a week of focusing on the current issues that were brightest in our world, we understand that this is going to take an ongoing effort to create an equal society for those who are suffering right now. So Undress the Jersey stands with the Black community, and we will continue to do everything that we can to support those and educate people about the issues that the Black community specifically are facing right now. Super excited to be back. Today's gonna be a great episode, not only because of the stories that we're featuring, but because my good friend and former teammate David Nkumsa is going to join us and add his 2 cents on one of the stories. So without further ado, let's hop right into it. So the first story today is from Stephen Harper, not the Prime Minister. Stephen Harper played hockey for Acadia University and has also played at the national level for Team Canada. Hockey has affected my life in many ways. It has helped me make friendships that will last a lifetime, has made me a better person and the man who I am today. There have been many highs in my career, like representing my country on the ice and playing in the CHL top prospects game, but also some lows, like being overlooked in the draft a couple of years. However, my passion for the game is what drives me to be the best I can be, because what I've come to realize is that nothing is ever handed to you. When the pressure is on and I'm in the spotlight on the big stage, those moments motivate me to push through and excel. Knowing your teammates count on you and you count on your teammates is just another reason why I love the team mentality. I find if the preparation, hard work, hunger, and fear of being complacent is there, the sky's the limit and goals are achieved. What stuck out to me there was the balance between highs and lows. As everyone knows, life is not a straight and narrow path, and it comes with a lot of highs and lows. But something that's been on my mind lately is that, especially as a young person who's just entering the world or leaving school or just growing up, sometimes we can become accustomed to the way life is right now. I think the important part is to recognize that life does come with highs and lows. If all you've ever known was happiness and perfection and things are handed to you and like you're successful and lots of things, then when life does turn a loop and sends you down a dark place, how are you going to react if you've never known what that feels like before? On the contrast, if someone who doesn't come from a well-off background and life just keeps hitting them and hitting them in the face, that's all they ever know, they don't know that life can get better. Personally, for me, I'm fortunate, and it's weird for me to say it like this, but I'm grateful the fact that I lost my mom at the age of 13. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not like, that was the hardest thing I've ever been through. And for me to say, I'm glad that I lost my mom when I was 13, that's just preposterous. What I'm trying to say is that at such a young age, I was hit in the face by life, came out of nowhere in a matter of 3 months. And it just allowed me to recognize how life works, and more times than not, we're not really in control. But by going through something like that, it allowed me to realize that not everything's going to be okay, and the important thing is how you react to certain things. Something that just came up recently this week with the announcement that the AUS is canceling all sports until January 2021. I was going through the comments and I shared a perspective of positivity in the fact that, yes, this sucks and no one wants to have their sports season canceled, but athletes can use this as motivation to come back even better. Now, I said that with a little bit of pushback from some people saying, yeah, but what if it's their last season? What if they're graduating and now it's just cut off and sad, hate, this sucks, everything's bad. By me saying that you can use this as a positive thing isn't me trying to say that some people are going to be affected worse than others. I just strongly believe that no matter what it is or what happens in your life, there's two ways to look at it. You can look at it in a positive way and use it to your advantage and grow from it. Or you can just look at it in the negative way and say, why me, this sucks, and just sit around and pout. I don't think you can make the argument that thinking positive is harder than thinking negative. It's just a conscious decision of how you see the world. And without experiencing both highs and lows, like Steven said, you're really going to be a single-minded individual. You need to feel both in order to make up your mind of how you're going to think about things. Let's get on to the next one. So next story is from Amanda Stanier. She was a goaltender for the University of Prince Edward Island. And from the last that I checked up on her, she's heading into studying her Bachelor of Education degree. So growing up, I always had the dream of getting a scholarship to play soccer at university. As I got into my final years of high school, I was spending a lot of time making highlight tapes to send to coaches. I'm from British Columbia, but I knew I wanted to go away from school. I have a lot of family on the East Coast, including cousins that played in the AUS, so I considered going out east. However, UPEI was not even on my radar. I sent emails to many coaches, but I ended up not getting any teams I wanted. On top of that, my grade 12 season was not the best, so with a heavy heart, I decided not to play my first year. I was studying at Dalhousie when in February I got a call from the coach at UPEI, whom I knew from playing on the island one summer. He told me they needed a goalie, and he even offered me some money. I couldn't believe it. I immediately called my dad, who went to UPEI, and he was thrilled. I trained all spring and summer, and I ended up having the best year of my life. It's crazy how things can turn around so quickly. I never thought I'd be where I am now, but I am extremely glad I am, and I couldn't be happier. What a better story to play off the last one. This episode's special because I was able to give my good friend and former teammate David Nkumsa a call. So let's hear what David had to say.
Actually, I have shivers. I actually got shivers. Yo, this is the story right here that I can be like, you know what? I can respect all the stories, but this one gave me shivers because just to think you wake up on Tuesday morning, you're just in your routine, you're at Dow, you know what you know, you probably got the old high school gear around, you're just doing your thing, and then bang, a phone call. Someone else said, yeah, I know, goalie. Let me see what she's up to. That's awesome. That's an opportunity that just came her way, and I bet you the next day, she just went, bang, let me just go to the gym and start from there. She said spring. She didn't say summer. She said spring. She started. So clearly the phone call came second semester, and she was like, whoa, I'm in it. I'm going to this. Call her pops, the person who could help her, the person who's been there. That's awesome, man. Yeah, shout out to her.
Even David heard it. Amanda didn't just sit around and say, soccer sucks, this is terrible. She sat there, and when the opportunity came around, she went out and grabbed it. She started working. She started preparing for the next wave. If you're not willing to move from the position you're in, the negative, the low, there's no way you take a step forward. You have to be willing to take a step forward and go after what it is you want. Amanda experienced, in that one story, she went from a low to a high. But backtracking on what Steven said, or what I said about Steven's story, was Amanda could have just sat there. Her grade 12 season was no good. She wasn't getting any connects from coaches. She even decided to take off her first year of university and not even play soccer. She could have just wallowed in self-pity and pity and say, life sucks, soccer isn't for me, I quit. But boom, unexpectedly, the phone rang and she was offered an opportunity to play at the university level. This just goes to show that you need to be open to the fact that life goes in highs and lows. If you just sit around and accept the low that you're in, you're not even going to give yourself a chance for a high to come, because when you're experiencing a low, it's very easy just to sit there and accept it. However, it's up to you to accept and pursue the high that comes. If you're just sitting in the low and expecting something great to happen, it's not going to happen. But the important thing to remember is that when you are in a low, opportunities are flying by you to bring you to a high. It's up to you to recognize that and grab it and go for it. For me, when my mom died, I could have just sat around and felt sorry for myself and hated life, and that would have been it. Who knows what would have happened? But instead, I used that time in my life to push me to do great things. So it's a mind shift, and you need to be actively engaged in pursuing a high. Shout out David, real one. Let's get into the next one. So our last story is from Juwan Granum, who is a basketball player who played for Ryerson University. As cliche as it sounds, time really does fly. Looking back before I came to Ryerson, I remember it like it was yesterday. I was in my 5th year of high school playing ball with some of the best basketball players Canada had to offer at the time. There was about 20 of us, all vying for an opportunity to find a home for the next 5 years. I was never a flashy or over-exuberant player, and I always thought that I got lost when trying to compare myself to others. On the team, I felt like I just blended into the background as a mediocre player among exceptional ones. Fortunately, others valued me a bit more than I valued myself. They thought I was a smart player, a good teammate, and an overall good character guy, so I like to believe. I remember when I chose to attend Ryerson University, a lot of people thought that I'd be making a mistake, that I wouldn't develop, and that ultimately that I wouldn't win. Fast forward 5 years and here we are. I've been blessed with an outstanding team every one of my years here at Ryerson, and together we managed to hang 2 conference banners and receive a couple of bronze medals along with silver medals from nationals in the 5 years I've worn the jersey. It's been a lengthy process from losing in the playoffs my first year to losing in the national final my last. But if asked if I could do it over again, I wouldn't change a thing. I have no regrets, and I'm proud of the man I've become. What's next is still unwritten, and I'm excited to see what the future beholds. I have said it before and I'll say it again. Comparing yourself to others is probably the worst thing you could ever do for self-confidence or progress or goal setting. And people tend to only compare themselves to people who are doing what they're doing and seem to be doing it a little bit better. And in the sense that I'm talking about, there's nothing really good that comes from that. Sure, I think it's important to watch others and see what they're doing and gain inspiration and learn from them. But in the sense that I'm talking about, when you're comparing yourself to someone else to see where they are compared to you, what good comes from that? It makes you feel worse. It makes you feel like you're not developing at the same rate that they are. And it makes you start thinking that, why aren't I getting the same opportunities that they are? And when you're trying to achieve something, that kind of negative energy that you're placing on yourself just isn't helpful. For Juwan, as a basketball player, it's incredibly difficult when you're on a team and you're kind of in the high school level and you're looking at universities that you're trying to get to. You can oftentimes feel overshadowed by someone else who's getting recruited to bigger schools. But something important that I think Juwan did was that he accepted the role that he was in, and he found a team that he could excel in that role for. If he had just listened to his friends and saying, you shouldn't go to Ryerson, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that. Fast forward 5 years, look at all the success that he did because he followed what he felt was right for himself. I can't help to think when other people tell you what you should do, they're coming from their perspective. They're telling you not to do something because they don't see themselves doing it. And even if they have your best interests in mind, they still don't have the emotion attached to whatever it is that you do. That's where things can get skewed. I think it's important to take advice from other people, but at the end of the day, you need to recognize that they don't feel the same way towards something that you do, and that's much more powerful. That's important to realize. Congrats on Juwan. He was a fantastic athlete to work with for Undress the Jersey, and as recent as 2 years ago, my last year, we played Ryerson. Juwan was an assistant coach for the team, so he's still staying involved with basketball, and you can just tell from his story and working with him that he's a leader and he's interested, just like him as a basketball player, he's interested in making those around him better. So shout out Juwan. That's another episode of Undress the Stories. Big thank you to David for coming in and sharing his 2 cents on the stories. Let me know what you thought about that and whether or not you would like to see more people come on the show and have a little back and forth discussion on the stories of the athletes shared on the page. As always, thumbs up really helps me. Just click it down below. And if you like these kind of videos, make sure to subscribe so you're notified when a new video is posted. I'm Tristan Ross. Make sure to follow me on Instagram, shameless plug, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.